I sprayed it once, and now I'm ready for my second coat. And let's just see, where do I want to start? I'm a little tempted to start on the lightest part of the flowers just to see how light that's going to be before I do anything else. And I'd rather not use white quite yet. But here's a really light yellow that I kind of like the looks of. Oh, you know, I could have drawn also. That would have probably been a really good idea, but I'm not going to right now. So in a way, I'm going to be drawing with my pastels. And, you know, you kind of always are with things like flowers anyway, because all the little pieces are so fiddly that to draw them all in by hand it'd be kind of hard and a little silly, I guess. And you definitely could do it, but... So the places where I guess there's some places the light is shining on the flowers, but up here it's mostly shining through them. So that's the yellow is a good choice for that because yellow is the color of the sun. And then the one that the light is shining on top of is a combo of light from the sky and the sun. So it could be a little bluer, and I'm hoping that will show the difference between the parts of the flower that the sunlight is shining through and the parts that the sun is also shining on top of. Okay, so I've got that for this one. And now for the other ones, I'm going to use a little bit of a blue or white. Now I want something lighter than that. I think of white as my lightest blue because white is generally kind of a cool color. Sometimes back in the old days, when we'd be out painting in Oklahoma, we would add a little yellow to our white paint so that all our whites were a little warmer because my teacher felt the white was so cool. I kind of lied a little bit here, so I guess I'll keep up with that lie. I like the stroke. The stroke really kind of emulates the way those irises go. Wow, I just really don't know quite what's going on here. I think I'll make the fall of this iris just a little shorter. Maybe or maybe not put the light on that one because it's so confusing right in here as to who is who. So I'm going to see if I can come back and kind of straighten that out later. And this guy back here, I don't want him to be quite as white, this one that's back here. So I'll just see if I can use a little bit of a less strong blue. And I'll make less contrast. That'll be the other thing that helps that not pop forward, hopefully. Okay, so now the fun is the color of the iris and the shadows. Or maybe I'll do the sky next, actually. Because I'm trying to bring up my lights, and now I know what my lightest light is, and I can compare the sky to the lightest light in the flower and make sure I don't get it too light. No, why that blue looks so gray up there. think that's the thing about testing or anything, is the stuff in your box looks really different. Looks so different than when you put it on the paper, because the other colors in your painting totally influence it. Okay, kind of like that. Okay, so there's a few other little white flowers here and there, so maybe I want to put a little something on them too. These little guys. So pretty. I just took this picture here in October. These are irises that bloom in the fall, I guess, also. I think I'm just going to try a little bit of that. Knock down some of that yellow in places. And I kind of wish I'd started with the yellow on all of this flower. I'll put a little more in there. Yeah, and I got to figure out what to do here. So actually, I'm going to draw just for a minute right here. So this is going to be where the light is. There's that guy. And then right here, holy cow, who knows what's going on? It turns over. Okay, so that hopefully is going to be a little less confusing when it kind of runs into this flower right here. Hopefully less confusing. So I'm just putting in all the lights. That's what I'm doing. And I sprayed it, so heavy. And so now that's what I need to do, is come back and bring out the lights. The darks have gotten darker, so I need to see where I can go with my lights, and then I'll do the darks. I just think these colors are so beautiful, and at this moment, I'm feeling like, holy cow, how will I ever get them right? White is just so great because it's just got everything in it. No. All right, and I'm gonna, try. I'm trying to push a little bit. I don't want to just make everything just the same. Although, I need to be sure I don't use too many greens. That I keep looking at the greens around. Like I was going to use sort of a teal right here, and I still think I will try it, but I want to be sure I don't that I don't use up the greens I need in the foliage in the colors in the flowers. Can't tell if that really went down or not. But I also don't want to just use blues and purples in these white flowers, because I want them to be more complex than that. And I want to remember that idea of focusing on what's going to be in the foreground, not what's in the background there. And so that's why it's also a good idea to work on some of these flowers that are in the back first, and then come back and work on the things that are in front, so that they definitely go in front. Just made a little drawing mistake there. So already I'm kind of thinking about how I want to build my composition, which is obviously everything kind of leading up to this, and then other things kind of spinning around. So I definitely want this one, this bud here, to be in front of this flower, and this too. And also these guys. Yeah, kind of messed up right there. But, okay, so that's in front. And maybe I let that get too bright. There's some things, like in the photograph, this petal ends right at that stem for this flower, so I don't want that to happen. I want it to continue a little bit on the other side. And my plan is to try to cover everything again pretty quickly. Not get bogged down in any one area. But to do more detail, which would be more smaller color changes and smaller patterns of light and dark, is what the eye reads as detail. So I never feel like usually, I guess I shouldn't never say never, but I don't usually feel like I'm doing something really different at any time during my painting, except when I start working on edges, and then I'm painting in a really different way because I'm making it up. I'm not looking at the world to see what's happening. I'm deciding what edges are going to be more in focus and more out of focus. And but other than that, the whole time I'm working, I'm making smaller color changes, and smaller little value changes, and that just becomes detail. But it's the same exact thing that I was doing from the very beginning of the painting, just in smaller. Hopefully I've made a big mass, and not a big mess, and I can come back in and put in those little changes, and then those little changes translate into what we call detail. But it's not like all of a sudden I'm coming back and now I'm doing detail. And it's pretty fun here, but I don't want to get too bogged down in any one spot. I want it to all move toward the finish at the kind of same rate of speed. Because number one, that's what makes sense, is to work, to me, is to be working everywhere all the time, looking at everything, not getting stuck in any one spot. And also because if I win and I spray it, it will knock everything back again. So I don't want to have some things way more finished than others and then have them have to be knocked so far back that I have to do all that work all over again. And another thing, like what I'm doing right now, it looks like I'm doing detailed, but I'm not really doing anything different. I'm just doing a little more precise outline here. Since that flower is my main center of interest. And also, this is keeping this, like, I think I'm going to try to add a little more air into other parts of the background, like down in here and stuff, maybe not quite so dark. But up here, against this flower that's my main center of interest, I want to keep it pretty dark. But one thing I'm just loving about the fall right now is the kind of... it's not milky exactly, but there's sort of so much atmosphere. It's kind of humid here, but not in an oppressive, horrible way. And the air has a lot of water in it, and it just makes the light so pretty. And this is only a couple of blocks from the ocean. Or the bay, if you want to be more specific. So a little more air in the color, a little lighter color. It just pushes it back some because it creates more space between the foreground and the background. No, you are not right. I'm a little worrying I picked something that's just too hard to do as a demonstration. And what makes it hard is there's so many little shapes, so many pieces to the pattern. But I think what I'll do is at some point, like right after or right before I spray it the next time, I'm gonna draw. Okay, so I'm still just trying to get this all covered a second time over. I've been working kind of back and forth on the flowers, on the leaves, on the background, trying not to get stuck working too long in any one place. Yeah. You're trying to add colors and smaller patterns of light and shadow. And smaller patterns of colors too. And basically just working to get it all covered again and then spray it again. And I think next time after I spray it, I'll definitely planning to redraw some. I was hoping I could get away with it, not having to redraw, just being able to do it myself. But I don't know. I just think I'd like to be sure everything was a little more in ship shape drawing order. Like I feel like I don't exactly know where things go because the drawing's not right. And that's usually my problem with drawing, is it's not exactly right, and then colors don't fit in exactly where they're supposed to. And it's just hard for me to, oh thank goodness I didn't drop that. It's kind of hard for me to redraw and think about color at the same time. So it makes more sense for me to separate my drawing and my color into two separate steps, if I can. Let's just say if I was, maybe if I was painting this out in the garden and I didn't have the kind of time that I definitely have all the time I want, working from a photograph, probably I have too much time. But then I might have to just probably accept the drawing more how it is. And there is definitely stuff to be said for that, being able to work more spontaneously because you have a time limit, and not having time to maybe overthink things. I probably have about 15 colors out that I'm mostly using. I think that's part of just feeling like the whole business is so confusing. I'm kind of resisting the urge to add any more colors to my the ones I'm working with right now. But I definitely will if I have to. And here's a place. Let's just, I want to be sure that my flower is separated from my stalk. So here's a place that it just wasn't drawn right. And I think what's happening is that this one is turning over, like that. So. I'm on the search for more greens. Yeah, and it's also clumsy in here, so hopefully I can make that better at some point. Yeah, and some of these things, like I just putting them in, and I just have to reevaluate later, see if I want to keep them or not. And I'm having a little problem where I think I'm picking up something that's going to be dark enough, and then it's not, like that right there. And then that's, I think, like about the same color. And I think that's about the same color. I tried to buy some darker greens the other day, but they just didn't have any in stock. And what's working now is this is a blue that I'm using on top of some of those greens I put down. I was just hoping to create more depth by having more layers of. So having some lightest leaves, middle leaves, and then darkest leaves, it would sort of feel like they were in the distance. And then these spaces between the leaves too, which is where the really dark is. So I guess I feel like my leaves are not kind of joining up between the top of the picture and the bottom. I'm confused. Okay, that's that one. And this is going to be that one. Man, I think I haven't worked on this in here at all yet. No. That color in the photograph, it looks so much like this really super brilliant blue, but then I put it on and it looks like a giant blue hole. Right. Just don't want them to look so awkward. And I love the warm color I see coming through them, but okay, well that wasn't too bad. Okay, so let's see what I could do up here. All these little guys. Start to get some sense of what they're doing. I wasn't able to buy any really good darks greens, but and honestly, I couldn't really tell what this color was. It was some sort of dark reddish brown, so I got that at the art store the other day. Thinking maybe I could use it sometimes to help me with my dark greens, but yeah, it's really good for this. All right, you know what now I'm going to do? I'm going to try using some real white. to tell you the way I really feel here is this like, oh, this beautiful, delicate thing, and then kind of like a bull in a china shop. The person who's painting it is not got the lightest touch in the world. But you know, I only sprayed it once. I have to spray. No, have I sprayed it twice? Maybe I have sprayed it twice, but I feel like I'm going to have to spray it one more time to finish it, just because of I got interrupted right in the middle today, and took me a long time to get back, and I still want to try to see if I can set up so I'm not on the side so much. It's really hard. It's really hard for me to tell what I'm doing here on the side, and I tried setting up with the camera above me, but then that makes everything so angled. The perspective's so weird on the paper and everything else in the film, and that doesn't seem good to me, so... I feel like I just did that a different way than I usually do, and honestly, I'm sorry to say, I don't know what that different way was, but I kind of liked it. I guess I came back with a lighter color green on the edges in front of the sky, so not the super dark green of where it's really massed together here, like down here, but a lighter green. As if more light was getting through or something. I kind of see it in the picture, but I kind of just did it, and now I kind of like it. I'm just getting these little lights and darks in on the stems, because if you don't, they aren't three-dimensional, but they're not perfect or anything. They're just a reminder. And I wish I could do a better job telling you why I'm choosing to work on the places I'm choosing to work on. I just like happen to be looking up here, and then I think, wow, there's a big block that seems wrong to have such a big solid block there. And then I look at the picture again and I say, oh, yeah, it's not quite as solid. Shoot, dropped both of them now. found one. So I guess what I'm doing is I'm kind of scanning the whole thing all the time, trying to make sure I don't get trapped in one place. And just looking for inconsistencies or other ways that things don't quite make sense. You know, I'm kind of feeling less like I would have to redraw to maybe. Been trying to go around and fix things that were bugging me. Yeah, that was like way too much. I just wanted to really make sure that flower felt like it came in front of that that leaf right there. It's incredible. I thought this was so dark. Okay, actually, I don't have the one I thought was so dark. So that one's darker. Okay, thank goodness. That was the dark one. That seems like a problem, don't you think? That bright green leaf running out of the side of the page. Let's make it worse. I guess the painting gods did not like that idea. Okay. I definitely feel like I'm dropping more things than I used to. Interesting. All right, well, I'm just fussing around, basically. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray it, and I might take a serious look at redrawing it when I'm not filming it, so I could sit right in front of it. And then you'll be able to see what I redraw, and then do a couple of last times over it to finish it. Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate you watching.